Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 86 of the Realm Recap. I am Jason from Yakface.com, joined as always by FLYGUY from FLYGUY.net.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, interwebs.
Good evening.
Nice little week of some goodies to discuss this evening.
Yeah,
nice variety of stuff.
Yeah. A few new figures that kind of, at least actual, images of what they're going to be had popped up online. Some confirmations regarding speculation on a couple of the other ones. There's been a whole, I don't know how to describe it. There's been a ton of posts lately in social media movements and whatnot around the whole where's Rey perceived delay or unfair treatment of her product. I'm sure you've noticed that as well.
I have. It's, in my humble opinion, a little bit overblown, but there should always be room for more ladies in Star Wars, so that's fine. But it feels a little. Some sites are causing it to be a little. Some sites are causing it to be a little bit link baity and shock horror women toy not available in shop. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Slave Leia thing, a little bit with the guy. Certain sites and certain news programs can just take it a little too far. Where it was probably a small issue, it's now a kind of storm in a teacup. So.
Right. It's been spreading across various, entertainment sites and, causing official responses from different manufacturers like Hasbro and, even J.J. Abrams weigh in on the whole thing. It's been interesting the past, week or so since, few weeks since the movie came out and everything. So, but we'll get into that a little bit here. We'll share some images and links regarding that topic here in a bit. But we will start things off as we usually do with some Hasbro news. Let's see, this week, it seems like a lot of people keep finding the 6-inch assortment of Black Series figures. A lot of people are finding that wave that includes Jango Fett, the Flame Trooper, Finn in his First Order Stormtrooper gear, and old Dead Han.
Yeah, that's true, actually. He really is Dead Han, so nicely put, yep. Yeah, there's been a lot of stores. I saw reports from Las Vegas, from North Carolina, from nothing in my area, but plenty of the Resistance Fighter stuff kind of heading in waves and droves, so... Yeah. I guess some stores are just playing catch up and some areas are getting it. It's the usual thing, I think. A lot of places sometimes get these things and a lot of places don't. It's not a uniform thing. But, what about you?
I haven't seen these yet. I had just come across like you had mentioned, the Resistance Trooper assortment just this morning, actually. I picked up one of the Resistance Troopers today. But yeah, it's been pretty quiet around here. To be honest, I haven't hit Walmart in a couple days. That's where they seem to be showing up. Target still seems to be just scraping by with whatever stuff they have on the pegs right now. A few assortments of vehicles I see they've been getting, kind of a restock of their exclusive Target BB-8 remote control figure, but not a whole lot in the action figure department. So,
same for Toys R Us, Kmart, online stores, BBTS, Dorkside, those kind of guys. It just, I think, really shows the kind of weird distribution of Hasbro.
Right.
It's rather than give it to all their top accounts like maybe Amazon and Target and Walmart, it's only one, or it's always sporadic like this. But I think people just always assume it's see it once, it's everywhere, but it's not the case.
And we had talked about this a little bit last week regarding inventory. This is kind of that time of the year for a lot of retailers. So I think in the next week or so, I think before the end of the month, I think we're going to see a lot of these products that a lot of people are finding at Walmart showing up at Toys R Us and Target. So I'm hopeful in that regard. So I'm looking forward to finding more, or at least new 3 3/4 inch figures. We had talked about last week that the Walmart exclusives again have been showing up pretty consistently across the country. I kind of want to get some other ones, from the Build-A-Figure line that have been leaked for a couple weeks now, or even months. I think back in November they started showing up on Amazon, the Uncar Plot and the Crimson Crimson Corsair, all those figures, the 2-packs, the single figures. So I'm looking forward to those actually hitting retail in the near future.
True, but I mean, as you see, even from November till now, I mean, it was still the mop up of the Christmas season. I'm still in stores today. There's tons of Christmas ornaments and all sorts of stuff still being cleared off shelves. So it's a tight turnaround time, I think, for a lot of retailers to just get stuff off the shelves. And plus, people are going to have holidays, and Hasbro shut down for at least 10 days nearly.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of people are still just getting together and getting things back together. So products will take a while to reach stores and wherever you buy them. So yeah.
Yeah. And that being said, pre-orders have opened up in the past couple weeks for some of that new product. A lot of the 6-inch stuff, the build a droid or build a weapon assortments. A couple other things have started to pop up here and there. So if you're discouraged by going to retail, by all means pre-order. It's just easier. You don't have to worry about it, and you'll save yourself a lot of time and frustration, I think. So
I think so.
So speaking of those pre-orders and whatnot, a couple new figures were revealed just today. Images had turned up online from Entertainment Earth and other sites. There was, I think, Jedi Insider had posted images. We'll have a link here too for that, of official images for Nunb, what is that called? The squad leader Stormtrooper, the First Order squad leader.
Heavy duty gunner, I think it's called, isn't it?
It's called the squad leader. It's a little bit different because this one has a pauldron on his right shoulder. You can barely kind of make it out in that image.
Squad leader, you're right. You're absolutely right. I didn't see that pauldron there at all. Okay.
So there's that. It also has different from the heavy gunner that's packed in with that Amazon exclusive set. That one has that same kind of gear on the front.
Yes, sorry.
That one has a little ammo pouch thing up on his other shoulder too.
So he does. You're right. The image, I'm just looking at it right now. Yeah,
it's a pretty cool, quote unquote variant for that.
Yeah, I was going to say that
for that style. But also we got our first look at what was speculated for a while and kind of rumored, talked about, was the new Kylo Ren figure that's in this assortment, which rounds out another build a weapon piece of shit thing that no one wants to play with. But
pretty terrible. There's some higher res pictures. I don't know if we've got them in the show notes. I think Jedi Insider had them today.
Yeah, I think I included those under that link.
We got them there. So,
at first blush, when I had looked at those images that had popped up through Entertainment Earth, I thought it was a simple, retool for the head for the Kylo Ren. But on closer inspection, it's got a new left arm and both legs and the crotch piece are new.
It's got a new crotch. Woo! I know.
So it's essentially an all new figure, which it's great. I mean, they could have simply, retooled the head and just thrown out another Kylo Ren.
Sure.
Like they kind of varied up his leg stance a little bit, where his legs are exposed, and
he's trying to use the force with these fingers there. I think that kind of it's and the helmet looks definitely to be. Actually, is it removable?
I think we've been kicking around on the internet and social media.
It does look removable to me, actually. That
because of how the original Kylo Ren was tooled, you could pop the mask off the front of that original figure.
Mm-hmm.
It was just glued into the head sculpt, and I think that's the same thing that's going on with this one, where they're just tooled a face and they've glued it into the hood.
Aha.
That's my speculation.
That's a shame if they've done that, because it doesn't quite sit right there with the shoulders. But his hair in the movie, for my part, was just way too blow dried.
Yes, quite the coif.
Yes, it was quite the quaff. Which kind of ruins the experience of, he's a big bad villain, but he blow dried his hair before he fought you. So it kind of, it doesn't quite have the same impact. But it's a good looking squad leader. Did not notice it in that smaller picture. Just shows you the difference a good high res image makes.
Right.
That's a good looking little blaster. That's a ridiculous blaster, but it's a good looking one. It'd probably fit a 6-inch figure better than the.
Yeah.
It might even be a Marvel Legends part reused somewhere. Actually, I don't know. And there's
a
Nunb
with very vintagey in his.
It is, isn't it? It is very vintagey. Although he's got a few more wrinkles, he's doing what I've got, getting old.
Couple
flappy skin,
flaps.
Lovely, nice flaps. Okay. Ah, dear, oh dear. And the carded images. The carded images look great. I thought the artwork looked really good on these.
Yeah, I'm happy with all of that.
Yeah, it's a nice stylization the way they've done that there. They could have really botched it and done a terrible job, but it's nice. And the squad leader looks good, and so does Nien. Just a quick glance at it. That's a great looking little. Everyone's obviously seems to be in the snow. It seems like there was a massive snow sequence which never happened in some ways, but
it's like, why? This is essentially from the part of the snow assortment. Again, the snow forest, whatever they're calling this assortment.
Yep.
Or snow desert. Why not? If Nunb is part of this assortment, then why not give him his flight helmet? But I'm happy that they didn't, because you've seen I have one right here actually. Let me click this here. You've seen what the helmets look like for those the banana visor.
Exactly. Yeah.
Been dubbed. So I'm glad they went with the unhelmeted version. It would be great if they would release, like they did with Poe Dameron, the pack-in for the regular Black Squadron X-Wing, where they give him the helmet and pack him in with an X-Wing. That'd be a cool alternative.
Yeah, it's a strange setup the way they've got that. There was one other figure I just realized today, which maybe we didn't have. I'll quickly shoot in the notes, which was the Han Solo figure. I hadn't seen this before. The 3.75. Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't.
I did. If it's kind of it's not real, I guess, buried on the Hasbro.com website. But if
okay,
I'm just gonna quickly.
And there's the Wraith figure that we're all supposed to hide and pretend never happened, but yeah.
Right. Lest the lawyers from the
lawyers will sue us.
Get this.
In your face, Disney. You're showing it.
Dang it. I can't find it at the moment, but yeah, it's on Hasbro.com's website. The both the Rey and the Han are on there.
Oh, okay. I hadn't seen it before. So old dead Han in 3.75.
Here we go.
What we're calling it. So yeah.
Just 1 second. I'm going to share my screen here if I can.
There seems to be a plenty of these figures at stores, as far as I'm concerned. There seem to be pretty abundant. Maybe not the ones everybody wants as usual. There we go.
Yeah. So there he is, and not a lot. It's not a high res image by any means. You can't blow this up any larger than what it's being shown here as a preview. But yeah, they do have it online on the Hasbro.com site, as well as, we step back here. I think the Rey is on here as well.
You had the 6-inch images as well, actually, of high-res images of Django officially for the first time.
Yep.
But since Hunter are now off the Hasbro PR management, the other guys at Hasbro haven't said anything on their drives, which is a shame.
Yep. There it is. Rey. If I'm still sharing my screen. There she is. So
that looks like a spike that someone's impaled through someone's head.
Yeah.
Some other appendage there, just from my screen.
So
like a small child. Okay.
The color of the outfit is a little off as far as the vest and her arm things. I remember them being more gray, as in the card art here.
Yeah. Yep.
She looks very Padme in her outfit from Revenge of the Sith in this deco. When she there's that pregnant Padme that came out back in the.
That's right. Yeah.
But anyway, it's still a good figure. I can't wait for it. I hope it hits retail here soon. But
it's refreshing to see, and I'd love to hear what other people think about this. And please do leave a comment under the video, wherever you're watching it, or Twitter, or wherever we post this. If you and I have been collecting for a long, long time, a lot of the female characters like Padme and others would swing off the pegs, and nobody would buy them. So it's refreshing, absolutely, to see that there has been a change in this focus, and we're just going to talk about this more in a minute about this, but I just hope people do buy them. I mean, she certainly seems to be hot right now, and it's the current thing, but poor Hasbro, in some ways, they must look at the sales figures and go, well, nobody was buying them before. What suddenly changed? The attitudes have changed, but it's, I just hope we don't. Yeah, it must be hard for them, because they're looking at historical information where people just yarn us. Always there was a Padme. I mean, the only real turning point, I think, was Ahsoka, as far as I can tell. Once Ahsoka came around, it kind of tipped the scales, and she was really super popular. So
right,
long may it last.
And you bring up Yarna and characters like her, background characters that collectors, older collectors like you and I, who've been around a long time, we kind of clamored for these background, one-off figures who are on the screen for a millisecond, just tucked in the background, or deleted scene figures like there was the whole Sandstorm kind of line of figures that came out in the vintage collection where, Leia in Sandstorm outfit, Lando, Luke, Han, and the like. It's kind of funny how those same collectors are complaining now about a figure like Constable Zuvio, who is essentially a figure that was supposed to be in the movie, but canceled, or edited out for whatever reason. And now they complain that Hasbro made this figure. It's like, that's the exact kind of counterintuitive as to something we would have asked for in the past.
From my experience of both collecting and knowing collectors, that as a broad range, and working in the toy industry as well, you are damned if you do and damned if you don't. There's no happy medium. It's you make a perfect figure, someone will find a flaw in it. It's just the way it goes.
It's like, oh, this figure is awesome. You guys did a great job. Why isn't it 2 per case? It's like there's always something to, like you said, something to complain about in some regard in collecting. And I guess that's just the nature of us and our needs and our entitlement attitudes sometimes.
I think sometimes it can go a little too far. I mean, I'm digressing here, but on a 6-inch figure this week, I heard someone complaining about the piece of sellotape on the bottom, that it wasn't serrated, and he felt that the seller had bought it and repacked it and was selling it off as a fake. That's like, are you for real? Just a reminder, Chinese people who make these get probably about $13 a day and work 365 days a year. So stop complaining about your toys, because they'll go away. They won't make them anymore. Anyway.
Yeah. So speaking of the whole Rey movement and the figure itself, Entertainment Weekly had posted an article last night regarding all of the products that are supposed to be coming soonish, regarding that directly tie to Rey, and others that don't. But they posted previews of blasters and Nerf guns and the figure we had just talked about. It's funny that they felt the need to address this in a Entertainment Weekly article. It's obviously gathered enough, coverage where they felt the need to do like this piece on it.
I think my take on it is Hasbro PR and Entertainment Weekly are tight in relationship terms. Maybe tight financially, but they're tight in relationship terms. And we've seen news break first, and we've often kind of bitched about it a little bit, saying, why are you giving this to Entertainment Weekly? It's mass audience stuff. It's, food fodder. It gets way more traffic, sadly, than you and I ever will. From that perspective. So I think that's why they do it to it's a little bit of PR that Hasbro said, hey, look, get this, put this fire out for us by posting this article here, I think. Because otherwise I don't really think Entertainment Weekly would give a crap, really. Right. I think this is a little pushed out there, which is fine. They've got to address their audience, but I'm seeing, 3 products? 3, 4... Yeah, there's other products. Okay, 5, 6. There's 22 slides, but the fins included, so that doesn't count.
Right.
Unkar Plutz included, so that doesn't count. So yeah, there's yeah,
Yeah.
she's definitely out there, so it's less of an issue. But
Right. And I'm sure you and I are in the same boat. It's like we want figures like Rey. I mean,
sure, of course.
obviously she's the main character. She's a great main character. I wonder if sometimes these articles come out for the wrong reason. Is it meant to, you know, advertise the brand? Is it meant to say, you know, reassure people that, hey, there's product coming? Obviously, an article or a magazine like Entertainment Weekly is not for collectors. It's for the general Joe Q or, you know, John Q public that doesn't really, they're not dialed in. So maybe they don't know that the stuff has been in the works the entire time. It's like that whole Monopoly thing that happened. You know,
Yeah.
They said, you know, Hasbro is going to now re-release Monopoly with Rey in it. Well, you're crazy if you think that that wasn't the plan all along. You know, they were going to have a Force Awakens Monopoly set, probably not just a overall Star Wars set.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's how it was advertised or spun. It seemed like Hasbro was inserting Rey as a character piece in response to this movement, this "Where's Rey" thing, and I don't think that was the case. You know, personally, that's what I think. I think there was always a plan to have a Rey token,
sure,
in there, and it's great. Their explanation was weird, though, saying they didn't want to, you know, reveal that she was, you know, as important as she was, or something to that effect, where they didn't want to spoil it. It's like she was all over the marketing. You know, why not just have her with her staff in the Monopoly set? They came out with a Star Wars chess set that has her in it. What makes Monopoly so different? It was just a weird response to that whole "Where's Rey" in the Monopoly set. Like people would have cared prior, you know, if she was in there, would anyone have said, "Oh, thanks for putting Rey in the Monopoly set"?
I didn't hear anybody really complain before. I mean, yes, in the past there was complaints that, you know, Billy D. Williams was literally one of the very few black people within The Empire Strikes Back, but I didn't see as much fuss even then, and even now about it. That, you know, yes, John Boyega's there, but I mean, you could, you know, there's one Asian person I think we found in The Force Awakens. I mean, they're really getting diverse. There's a couple of Scottish people, but it's just
right.
I don't know. I can get a little.
Tell that to Kanji Club.
Tell that to Kanji Club. Yeah, tell it all to Kanji. Go and tell Kanji Club all your issues, and just let's get the toys out there and do them. So yeah, it's
anyway. Like you said, it's kind of a tempest in a teapot kind of deal. It's and a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing. You get out, you know, merchandise for whatever segment that you're trying to appeal to, and you have another segment that says they're being underserved. You're just not gonna. It works that way with, you know, super articulated figures and 5 POA figures. It works with 6-inch. It works with 3 3/4 inch. There's no way that any manufacturer is ever going to make the collector mob happy.
Never.
They do their very best, and they're also under restriction from the licensor that says, hey, you can make this and release it at this time. That's not Hasbro's fault.
It's no. I mean, I think that it backfired a little bit, I think, on them, the whole trying to keep Rey hidden as the you know, with a lightsaber. I get it, but it almost just caused more fuss by making a fuss about it.
Yeah.
Because frankly, we all could have thought, oh, well, she picked up a lightsaber, so did Han, or it doesn't necessarily mean. But I get the point they were trying to do. But I mean, you showed a picture this week. The figures are out there. They are being scalped heavily, and I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Reys there. There's Rey 3. I mean, maybe you stacked that up to effect there.
Oh,
but,
sure.
But ultimately, there's plenty of Reys there.
Right.
So, but of course, mileage may vary, stores may vary. Just to remind people, you can buy them online. So it's, you know, just because they're not in stores doesn't mean to say there's no Reys anywhere. So
yeah. And like you said, your mileage may vary. the town, my hometown that I was happy to shop in this past weekend, it's not heavily shopped by collectors. And, so you go in and it would be very easily like I displayed there in that image, you could find Rey. But if you live in a heavily populated area or area that's really dense with collectors, you might have problem finding something that you're looking for. There's no amount of distribution, tinkering that a manufacturer can do to account for that. I mean, you just can't account for how that works sometimes.
I mean, I find, again, we've talked about this before, and I don't want to bore people about it because we've covered it, but the cost of the item, again, just comes into play. I mean, you're talking, about $12, $13 figure. Again, cost may vary where you buy it from, for a 3.75-inch articulated Rey, or the power-up Rey that's 5 POE. Again, this thing has traveled around the world. Try getting a flight anywhere for $13.75. Or asking someone to get some plastic and melt it and paint it and package it and print it and process it and market it.
Right.
We are getting stuff at reasonable costs. Because the market, you can see the secondhand market, a lot of people are selling these for 20, 25, 30 and up. And so we're getting them pretty reasonably. So it's, I think people just seem to be a little bit impatient. I get it. I'm impatient too. We want them yesterday, but it's, again, pre-order or order somewhere or whatever you do, or hunt around stores. But these figures will come out. But I don't know. Try and be a little happier with your toys, everybody.
Yeah,
enjoy them.
That and network too. Like, use social media, use your friends, your collector friends. Have people help you. Be on the lookout for stuff they're looking for, and do the same thing with your friends. I know.
Absolutely.
I've been listening a lot to some of Chris Perillo's podcasts and his YouTube channels, videos about making connections, about trying to, just like I said, network and help out people in the community, and it'll come back around and you'll be helped in that same regard. So it doesn't hurt to throw some feelers out there and say, hey, I'm looking for this figure. What are you looking for? I could maybe help you, or I have an extra of this. Can you help me out with that?
It's actually made me some great friends. If you just even by helping people out, I've ended up meeting with them and speaking with them regularly and working with them. So it makes a big difference. So definitely help your fellow collector out.
Absolutely. Let's see. I think that takes care of the Hasbro goodies for this week. Moving on to some Lego stuff here, or Lego and Kotobukiya. Just yesterday, I think Kotobukiya shared their official first look at the Kylo Ren Artifacts Plus statue, which is pretty sweet. It's got some switch out, it's got a switch out portrait for the head.
It's incredibly dark, black on black background. We've talked about this before. It's like, maybe don't do that if the figure is black. It's incredibly hard to see these pictures here.
Yeah.
It is on my monitor anyway. But he seems to have the. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say Kotobukiya again. They make some great sets, great kits. This is another one. The detailing, the sculpt, just the way they've captured the texture of the different fabrics going on. I mean, this is all all plastic. There are no soft goods here, and you wouldn't know it from some of these preview images.
Exactly. It's kind of, and we'll talk about this later on, but we talked about it last week, the variance in the Kylo cloth on his back. They've kind of gone with the Kylo version 1. We'll talk about that later on. Remember we talked about the difference in the hood and the material. So it seems to be a much smoother material they've used, as opposed to the Hasbro slightly tweaked, or maybe it's just the size of the images here. But it's a good looking figure.
Yeah. So you get some alternate arms and that switch out head. I like that they do that with this line. It gives you a lot more options as far as displayability and
definitely. No, they're great. I used to have a ton of Kotobukiya models, and they're beautiful. They really are absolutely gorgeous. So yes, pre-order is open, $69.99.
Pretty reasonable considering.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
size of it as well. It's
yep.
1/10 scale. It's like 10, well, literally 10 inches. I think, yeah.
Let's see what else we have. Some stuff that was shared by our friend Studshooter over on Twitter. There was a cool Kylo Ren. I believe this is a custom Microfighter style version of his command shuttle, which looks spot on for what that line would represent.
Absolutely. We had a little discussion of this before. We don't necessarily think the Kylo Ren figure will come out in a little vehicle like this because it's quite a prized and kind of premium minifigure as such. But that would be great if they did. That'd be a fantastic looking little Microfighter style figure set. Very cool indeed.
I need to find the plans to make it so I could
yeah,
black and gray, black, gray, and red tiles and make one.
They're fairly generic, so yeah, he's a good looking little figure. Very cool.
Yep. There was a couple other leaks here. These were actual upcoming sets. It looks like coming from Lego. We've got a regular Resistance X-wing. The image previews are very small for these, so we just have to go with what Studshooter shared. But pretty cool overall. It seems to be right on par with what Lego would be offering for this line as a follow-up to the initial launch.
Definitely. And they do this a lot, that the prelim, they give a rough idea of the vehicle, but all the minifigures sometimes can be just completely
generic
or won't even appear in the set. They're just kind of, I mean, this is showing a kind of Han Solo, I think Princess Leia, a flamethrower trooper and BB-8. Kind of random, but again, it's almost just like here's what the pack may look like. A nice one, the blast from the past, is the Turbo Tank, which was just an awesome vehicle before, with some Jedi there and some clones and battle droids and stuff. So that would be nice. And a kind of unusual one. This one is the one that made me suggest that there's a lot of people who make fake images of this. I'm sure you know as well.
Yep.
But for those that don't know, if you're watching, there's a lot of people that have great pleasure in making fake Lego images just to, I don't know, shits and giggles. But this one looked a little bit dodgy to me. I think it was the E-Wing. And I've never really seen a lot of two vehicles in one pack. But it's quite small, and they're probably a little bit more micro in scale. We've had a few vehicles that have been quite small, but plenty of Lego coming. Plenty.
I was curious to know if that A-Wing and the Vader TIE Fighter was kind of a Rebels tie-in set, because the A-Wings have started to kind of pop up in there. So,
have they? I thought it was B-Wings.
Well,
Rebels.
them too, yeah, because they're the McQuarrie kind of concept A-Wings that were in there, where, I mean, it's essentially the same thing, but it had instead of gray and red, it was the gray and blue deco. So I thought it'd be kind of a neat tie-in to Rebels, because we haven't had a lot of Rebels merchandise for Lego for a while.
That's a good point. And it would be a Darth Vader minifigure, perhaps stylized for Rebels too, so that would make sense. Good call.
Yep. Let's see, what else was there? Funko, the exclusive Finn with the lightsaber has started hitting stores. I had shared this link on Twitter the other day. A nice display end cap type thing where they have those. I ordered mine online, so I should have it. I should have it tomorrow.
Excellent. Yeah, I've seen a lot of pop, not necessarily Star Wars. The minute they've come out recently, gone.
Yep.
I'm talking 3 deep shelves, gone. So yeah, not to say they won't restock, but boy, it's hard to get some toys. It really is.
Yeah, very popular. Popular.
Yes. Pop. Oh, what a pun.
What else? We have in some other news here, Sphero has a new bit of tech to come out in order to control BB-8. If you don't have a smartphone or, an iPhone, Android, I think that's what that app works on. They now have a wearable device that you can use to control BB-8, which I thought was kind of interesting.
That's a nice kind of update or mod to it. It's just taking a little minute to upload. There we go. Nice. It's like a kind of Dick Tracy weird communicator kind of thing on your wrist there.
Yeah. So basically, it uses arm and hand gesture type movements in order to control it. So you push out and he rolls away from you, and you pull back and he comes towards. Or I'm not sure how you steer, but that's kind of the gist. You can kind of watch the video and the little previews there on the Gizmondo site.
I guess there's a gyro inside the watch as well that then is replicated into the BB-8.
Yeah, you would think
that's nice. I mean, rather than make something, I mean, it's an expensive piece to make something and then just kind of almost leave it on the shelf. A little software upgrade it's nice.
Yeah, it's
a nice little touch.
And they're going to offer this as a bundle where you could either buy BB-8 with the wearable piece of tech. It's not out yet. It's coming here later this year. But I also noticed in the article it mentions that they're having another version of the BB-8 coming out where he's weathered more. The one that came out was very
clean,
off the assembly line look.
Yeah,
very clean. This one has got a lot more weathering. The dirt and grime around the seams and joints and panels. So I prefer the weathered one much better than the original.
What a fantastic opportunity for them to get a double dip at this thing and re-release
at $150. Yeah,
at $150. Variant hunters must collect it. Well, I mean, more money to them. Sure. Literally, more power to them. But yeah, more money to them.
Let's see what else. Quick couple things here. Ultimate Vinyl Collection was released. This was something shared on StarWars.com. They have issued vinyl. People who are old like you and I remember what vinyl was. It's vinyl records recreating the original jackets for the original trilogy and kind of more like the CD covers and jackets for the prequel trilogy.
And I think I'm sure you do as well, but getting that original Star Wars vinyl LP and opening it up, and just as we're seeing on screen a little bit there, and seeing posters inside and booklets, those were the days. I mean, that was it. Ain't no internet. That was it. You got all your information from these things and printed media. So yeah. Yeah,
I have mine.
Beautifully done. I did not keep mine, but
I got mine right over there. I know right where they are. Yes.
Do you have a turntable though? That's the problem.
No, I do not.
There you go. That's why I got rid of mine. I was like, okay. Yeah. But it's a beautiful. I mean, vinyl seems to be making such a strong comeback in the last 4 or 5 years, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So bring it on. I mean, if you really wanted it, it's a beautiful set piece.
Yeah, cool little, kind of a slipcase sleeve deal for the whole 11 album collection.
Yeah, 11 albums. That's a lot. That's gonna be a heavy package. Very heavy package. So yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have a link to that in the show notes, and you'll be able to view that on StarWars.com as well.
Yep.
What else? You had something in here for the Battlefront medals at Toys R Us.
I thought these were done. They did have an I thought I had one to hand, but it's little medals that you get from completing a little quiz challenge on Toys R Us website. That ran up until December.
That was Epic Battles, right?
Epic Battles, it was indeed. And once the screen just loads here, what you'll get to see, there was 4 of them, and literally just redoing it again. So I guess they had a lot of stock. Hoth, Endor, Yavin, and Tatooine is the medals. I managed to get 3 of these things with some help, some friends, but they're cool, nice metallic little medallions in a little promo bag, and some fun to be had for certainly younger kids as well, and older farts too, is to have a look through these little puzzles, and you identify this won't work in Chrome for some reason. I think it's the ad blocker, but you identify little pieces and it's back basically. So you've got from the 10th of January until the 30th of January to collect them. So go on and take your vouchers in anytime. You don't have to do that silly kind of thing where it was like for 2 days between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. And it was really limited, I thought. It was very, very tightly limited. But yeah, they're available again. So if you missed them, now's your chance.
Cool. So it's the same 4 medals as before?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Identical. Same things.
Yeah.
I think they had such a problem with them the last time. Studshooter and myself and a few others were collecting them. A few other friends of mine too. And people were turning up in stores and people had no idea what they were. And I did the same. You know, those, sorry if you're a Toys R Us employee, but if you're a Toys R Us employee who's watching this, you probably know your stuff. But there's a lot of Toys R Us employees that like kind of, Star Wars? What's that? You know, they just don't have a clue.
Yeah.
So trying to get these was hell. They didn't know anything about them. Some stores gave them all out to several people, like 5 each or something. So yeah, so I think they're redoing this again. So that'll be good to get them.
Let's see, a couple custom bits here. This was shared on our Facebook page on Yakface, on the Yakface Facebook page. A custom version of the 3 3/4 inch Luke from The Force Awakens. I thought this was a killer work in progress image that was shared. I want one like right now, essentially.
Page is just loading here, but yes, beautiful work done again. That's really good. Very slick indeed. So
yeah,
the beard right.
The likeness is just spot on.
It's pretty good. I think we're all just clamoring for more Luke. I mean, you know, he gets 15-second screen time in one of the biggest movies of all, in fact, the biggest movie of all time, and says nothing. I think we're all a little bit wanting more Luke. So yeah, I do anyway. So yeah, good looking custom.
Hopefully, Toy Fair will get to see an official figure in a couple different scales. Hopefully, we'll see. And then one here that I had done over the past week. This one was the Rey pilot doll. I don't know if you had caught this.
I did.
It was up in the wee hours of the night. I don't know what prompted it. I probably just saw Force Awakens again. But essentially in the visual dictionary that came out for The Force Awakens, we got a nice look at the doll that Rey makes for herself in her exile on Jakku, in her AT-AT house.
I think it's quite prominently put there as a kind of hint at something, that someone with an X-Wing pilot suit was involved. That's the way I took it. It was far too long a lingering look on it to just be something in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so that was the...
Yeah, she made her own little doll since she was only 10 when she was left there. But I traveled to my local Michael's and I picked up some supplies, some orange fabric, some burlap kind of stuff, some foam. And
off you went.
Yeah.
Very creative, sir. Is this one of your late at night things you did?
Like 2 in the morning kind of thing.
2 in the morning thing. Got the Star Wars soundtrack on.
Yep.
Got the vibes going.
Yeah.
Like it. There you go. You'll believe a man can stitch. Fantastic.
Yeah. Very, very rough, but that was the purpose. Well, it was kind of funny when I turned it inside out. When I turned it inside out, the suit, the orange flight suit, was so form-fitting. I thought I could probably throw it on a 6 scale body that I had around. It was just, but anyway, I kind of replicated what the image was in the book and weathered it up a little bit by scraping her along the floor in my garage, dirty quite a bit, and presto, instant. I have her right here, actually. Him, her. It's probably her. Yeah.
There you go.
Little Jakku.
Skinny doll. Doo-doo doll.
Yeah. It was very fun. A lot of people, mostly girls, I think, women, are making them. I've seen on Etsy and different social media channels, but I felt, what the heck, I can do that. So I did.
Well, you've done some creative stuff before. We know you can do this, so yeah, that's a good job.
Thanks.
Very good job.
Let's see what else. Moving on to TV, movie, book, and game news. We've got a preview here for Rebels returning here next week on January 20th, and someone makes a debut, Princess Leia.
Indeed.
Pretty cool to finally see her in the series.
It's a nice looking rendition of her. So. Do we have any mention of who's doing the voice, Cat Tabor or something? Or
no, it was.
nothing?
We do know who it is. I can't place the name or remember the name at the moment, but she voiced Leia in the Disney Infinities game.
Ah, okay.
As well as the voice from the Uprising, Star Wars Uprising game. I think that's a mobile game.
Yes, it is indeed. It's funny. This news was. I did see it briefly. It was just only the other day, but. Rebels, I think, just seemed to dip down a little bit in popularity with The Force Awakens. It just
understandably so.
Understandably, yeah. That looks fantastic. It's all coming together. I like it.
And what I noticed the other day in the next link below was that Leia's outfit is very much McQuarrie-like in the design.
God, isn't it just?
It's pretty cool that they. I mean, Dave Filoni is very mindful of all the influence that McQuarrie had on Star Wars and on Rebels. You know, a lot of the designs and just the textures and the look of things.
Rightly so.
And it's cool that they took that in order to establish Leia's look for the series. So.
Yep, I agree. We get some Ralph McQuarrie coming up in a minute or two, or something similar to that.
Hopefully, we can get a Leia figure. Where's Leia? Leia figure for the Star Wars Rebels.
Where's Leia? Where's Rey?
Yeah.
Where's the ice cream guy again in the new movies? No, okay, no.
What else? Episode 8. We just finished, 2-3 weeks ago. Just finally saw episode 7, but episode 8 is supposed to be starting to get underway and filming this month. But John Boyega had posted or had an interview with Vogue magazine or Variety, I think it's Vogue, that the tone of episode 8, titled Yet to be Determined, is supposed to be much darker than episode 7, which is to be expected. It's the middle trilogy, or middle of the trilogy. Episode 5 was the darker of the original trilogy films. So
I know it's such a trip to see these guys. Now we never got into this event here at San Diego Comic-Con, but we heard it. We were along the road from it. But what a trip it's been for those guys from whatever that was, July, just all the way through. They must have had such a year in terms of travel and promotion and press, and it's going to keep going. Yeah. Episode 7, episode 8, episode 9.
Well, it's just last weekend it opened in China.
I know.
It seems
crazy.
It'll just keep continuing on until they have to be filming. So there'll be some downtime in the promotional aspect of the films, obviously, while they're filming. But yeah, it's cool to hear that what we kind of suspected would be the theme and the feel for episode 8 is going to be darker, and I'm looking forward to that. So.
Yep.
Let's see what else. You had shared a link here. The final IMAX poster coming to theaters that are screening that format.
That's right. I love this work. Is it Mumford? I think his surname's Mumford. First name it's not Dan. Can't remember what his exact name is. But Dan Mumford, I think it is. A beautiful artwork. 4 of them. But I just thought that was beautiful. This one that came up here. It's just gorgeous as a sequence and a set. If you haven't seen them before, there's one with Rey. There's one with Poe. I don't know who the other one is. And
there's a Phasma one.
Phasma, that's what it was. Phasma. So it was, yes. Beautiful burning kind of scenery on Jakku.
Did you get
And
any?
this one here, oh, I didn't get none of them. I have been to so many IMAX theaters, walking by or whatever I've been traveling a lot recently. Not one. None of the staff knew about it. None of the managers. Nobody knew about this thing. So, did
Yeah,
you?
I got the Poe one. I would
Wow.
gladly trade it for this one. Not that I don't like Poe, but I just like the design and the style of the
Sure.
Kylo Ren one more.
Well, there's a lot of very high-res images of it available online. You
Yeah.
could almost print your own if you can't get hold of it. But of course, there's bootlegs by the hundred on eBay. So
Right.
if you're really desperate, but they're beautiful, really well done. It's a shame that the distribution was just kind of weird. Some IMAX theaters knew nothing about it, but I guess it was one or two select chains only. So
Let's see. MakingStarWars.net had shared some kind of leaked behind-the-scene photos for Rogue One, which is currently in production. Comes out, a year from now, less than a year from now. Three images of X-Wing, traditional X-Wing that we've known from the original trilogy, with a kind of a black and white zebra paint job. Not really zebra, but angular paint job, I would say.
yeah. Sorry, my camera's going a little weird here. This is yeah, it's kind of weird looking here.
Spoiler warning.
I mean,
or throw that out there before you get the.
What's that?
I said spoiler warning.
Yeah,
Spoiler warning before people get crazy.
It's yeah, it's just gonna get nuts. It's gonna get nuts with all these spoilers, I think. But yeah, there we go. There's somebody sneaked in the middle of the night, and so I guess it's maybe a transition between the episode, well, up towards episode 4. It'll be.
Yeah.
Thinking it was between 7 and 8, but another repaint maybe of an X-wing fighter. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, Rogue One details are going to start coming thick and fast.
Looking forward to it.
I know. I can't believe we've got another Star Wars movie in less than a year. That's
it's like 340 days or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like I don't have enough to plan for in my life already. It's like
yep.
340 days.
Here we are complaining about more Star Wars movies. I know.
I know. More toys, more out-of-pocket cost. Let's see what else we have. You had posted a link to some matte paintings.
Yeah, this was just a nice story. If you haven't ever read the Making of Star Wars books, or many of them, there's a lot of them that focused on Ralph McQuarrie, but there was a lot of other artists that painted a lot of the. Obviously, Ralph McQuarrie and Joe Johnston and others had a lot to do with the designs, but the original matte paintings are a huge part of Star Wars. There's some of the names involved. Chris Evans, no, not that one. Mike Pangrazio, Frank Ordaz. What's that, sorry?
I understood that reference.
Harris Nelson, and of course Ralph McQuarrie. He did paint a lot of them. But looking down, I mean, these are beautiful high-res images, so I won't click these because it'll be a little bit slow here with the hanging that we're doing, but you can click them and they're really nice big high-res images, and you can see the work that they're doing way back in the 70s with the big mustaches. But it always blew my mind. I didn't realize when I was a kid this was a matte painting, of course, but I thought there was hundreds of troopers somewhere in a studio, but just beautifully done. What's that?
In space.
In space somewhere, of course, because it's real. But I think that picture there just has been really brings it home just how much that Frank Ordaz or Chris Evans here in this case was hand painted stormtroopers. It's so well done, these paintings. Death Star, I mean, again, look at the detail that's been applied there. It is phenomenal. And of course we all know there's a couple of dodgy sequences, a couple in Return of the Jedi, right. But that little sequence where almost Budo or whatever he's called eats up some kind of womp rat out there. And other ones, Return of the Jedi and Raiders of the Lost Ark, and all the little sequences, how they filmed it. It's just a nice little touch of Ralph McQuarrie doing his one there. But it's beautiful. I mean, it just brings it on home what you remember as a kid, or first time you've seen Star Wars, you get to see this stuff. So anyway, A lot of stuff that's very interesting if you're an old vintage fan, and it just shows you it doesn't all need to be CGI. It can be done with paint, which is kind of freaky.
Yep. Yeah, if you want to see those images, we'll have a link again in the show notes, so you could go right to those. And then you had finally here for Obi-Wan Gets Edited. What is that about?
Have you? Okay, you haven't seen this. This is, I think you really need to watch this. It's pretty cool. It's someone has taken the Revenge of the Sith moments where Obi-Wan and Anakin have their fight sequence, and they've interjected them into A New Hope, where Luke and Obi-Wan talk about, how did my father die? How did you know my father? It's beautifully edited. It's quite impactful. I'll try and play a little bit here, but you have to watch it. It's one of those things. So click in the show notes, go to the show notes wherever Jason and I post them on our sites or YouTube or whatever, and watch this one. It's quite an impact. The music makes quite a difference. It's been re-edited with this different music, but I think what brings it home is, again, you remember Obi-Wan sitting there and he's just kind of pontificating about the past with Luke.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to the moments where he basically slashed and killed this boy's father. So it's quite a difference. It's quite a difference to the sequence, and it just shows you the difference that editing can make. So highly recommend you watch it. And yeah, Obi-Wan Remembers the Truth is what it's called. And let's see who made it, just to give them a little bit of credit for their work, because I think they were the original poster. The original source that I got it from was this site. Shahan Reviews, and what I told you was true from a certain point of view. So you know, again, makes such an impact. That line that Obi-Wan gave, and of course, had he's told them, yes, I slashed your father's legs off and left him to burn on a strange planet, would have been a little bit more impactful, I think, than who's a pupil of mine or whatever. So yeah, interesting link.
Yeah, I've seen that link pop up several times over the past few days, and I've kind of been avoiding it because there have been so many just dodgy edits of footage that kind of.
This is slick. This is pretty well done. The music's a little off. Obviously, they've had to come up with some other music, but it's
right. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Let's see. That brings us to some reviews and new acquisitions and purchases for this past week since we last met. What did you have for reviews this week? Quite a bit, I saw.
Yeah, a couple of reviews. The 3. You managed to pick these up, I think, a little while just before I did. But the 3.75-inch Finn and Poe, I took a look at through the week, and quite impressed with these guys. I mean, they are a higher price point. We've talked about that before, but still quite hard to find. Again, kind of quite annoying that it's only Walmart here in the US and Asda in the UK that are getting these. I don't think the UK guys have got the Finn and the Poe and Rey as yet. But again, love to hear your thoughts and comments. Let us know. But they're good figures. I like them. And I especially like the Poe Dameron. I really like the removable helmet, the articulation, the facial sculpt, and the paint on it is some ways better than the 6-inch. So I just wish, and I've got some here if I can dig it out. A good friend of yours and mine from the former Wolfpack, now First Order Transmissions, Chris from the Bad Motivator podcast, he does as well. Had those figures been on these kind of cards, it would have just blown me away.
They're awesome.
So they really, I mean, articulated figures on the vintage card, but then I just moan about this all the time. So they were good figures. But apart from that, did a little comparison. We talked about this last week on the two differences between the, I'll try and bring the link up there, the Kylo Rens. The fabric just showed the difference in that. And the cape, you're absolutely right. It's quite a bit longer in terms of the Kylo version 1, in terms of his drapes, if we'll call them that, and the second version. But really do like the difference they've made in that fabric. It really just improves the figure no end. So did a quick comparison of that, and that's it for review. Some Lego, and I think that was me. What about you?
Not so much many reviews for this week, but picked up a few things. Let's see, what did I get? I grabbed like I mentioned before, the Resistance Trooper from, I think, Target. I found that this morning. What else did I get? Stumbled across a few more of the Walmart exclusive 3.75-inch figures. Picked up another First Order Stormtrooper, another Rey, because I want to have her on display with both her gear on and off.
Gear off, yep.
What else? My brother, like we had talked about prior in the show, I kind of celebrated our Christmas a couple weeks late here last weekend, but I received a few Star Wars.
Oh, I think we lost Jason briefly there. He received something Star Wars, which we'll find out in a minute. But let us know what you got for Christmas. Leave a note in the comments, and hopefully we'll get Jason back, and this show might end. Or it might not. I'm talking to myself here. Going slightly mad. We'll give him a second. The joys of doing podcast live. Earth to Jason. Come in, Jason. As a little side note, this happens to us every week. There's always something. Doesn't matter what platform you use, there's always something. Audio doesn't work, video doesn't work, sound goes funny, headphones go funny, laptops don't work. This is the way it goes. But we do it live because we love it. Come on, G. Okay, while we're waiting for Jason to come back, I'll continue on with the stuff that I picked up this week, because that's where we're literally just following on from. So, as Jason said, he got some Lego and other stuff. So did I. I picked up the little battle pack that Lego produced with the First Order Stormtroopers and the very cool little mini First Order heavy gunners, which are also pretty good as well. I do like them. And they came with some other figures as well, the little other troopers that they had in the set. And these very weirdly helmeted guys, I still don't know the exact name of these guys. Kind of looks like a Death Squad commander from the old vintage line. But those little Lego battle packs were good. There's also, I'm sure you know, a Resistance Trooper battle pack out there. They come with great little visors and helmets. You can just see them there. Probably not the best focus on this podcast that we're doing there, but nice little slick little visors. And huge kind of weapons that they come with. It's basically a standard kind of stud shooter weapon with an extra handle on there. But they look great. There's 4 different varieties. This guy comes with a big bushy moustache, and the other ones are slightly different as well. So each minifigure, rather than getting the same minifigure again and again, is different. What else did I pick up this week? The articulated Rey we talked about. She's just been popped in a poly bag. But she comes with both the kind of desert kind of gear that she's got and the standard head that she comes with there. It looks a little creepy in that poly bag. That was purchased. Pile of Star Wars comics. Deadpool t-shirt from Target, which is literally flying off the pegs. So plenty of these. Got a big pile of these coming from Dorkside Toys. They get some other ones as well. Civil War and other stuff. Looking forward to them. And Aliens was another thing I bought, which was an Aliens power loader. Big fan of that stuff. If you haven't checked out NECA's Aliens, they are fantastic. If you're really into good quality figures, the price point's really good as well. They're about $21. It's exceptionally good quality stuff. Definitely check them out. Aliens is a great one. And the Aliens power loader, if you're a fan of Aliens, is one you really should get without a doubt. Trust me, it's awesome. And some Iron Man Lego. It's quite a busy week for me in terms of toys and other stuff, but not a lot of Star Wars, just the little Lego pieces pretty much, and the Rey. So I think we've lost Jason. The way this works is it'll continue going until he comes back on, because he's hosting the call, and there he comes. Just on time, I think.
What the hell?
I kept on going. The audience will be very amused as I just warbled on.
We'll see if that captured any of it.
Hopefully. Hopefully not. We're still live. It says it's still live. So.
Yeah. Okay. I'll reserve my F-bombs and colorful language till we're off air, but anyway.
It happens.
It
What
happened.
was it?
I don't know.
Well, I was saying there, this happens to us every week, the same, there's something, whatever. But that's the joy of doing it live.
That's true.
So I just prattled on and kept getting on there about the stuff that I'd bought this week. So I've kind of covered everything that I've bought.
Nice.
Um,
Well, I was trying to share my R2D2 cookie jar. I'm not going to bring it up here again in case it was the problem. I don't know. What else did I get? I picked up the Resistance Trooper. I saw you had done a review recently of that figure. I have the red helmet version as well. Just one second. Let me turn my camera back on. I don't know why it's off.
So there seems to be three. There seems to be a kind of, I've seen a pure white one with a brown helmet, a greenish wash, and you've got the reddish wash. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the reasoning behind the helmet color variants are, but I like them. I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, but yeah.
An unintentional variant, yeah.
Because like the 3 3/4 inch figure is a green helmet. So is the green rubber or is the red?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't think it's intentional. It just looks like paint to me. Of the ones that I've seen them all, and I kind of looked at the three of them, and it looks like a brush of, depending on what color they mixed in their palette, whatever. It's just, it seems to be a slightly different option that you get. So you get your cookie jar. You get some. You bought some vintage Marvel comics.
I got some for Christmas actually. I don't have the box handy that has them all in it, but my other brother got me a stack of a dozen Marvel comics, Star Wars #1 through maybe 10, which is pretty cool because I've never had that run before. So got those. Today I got a box in the mail. I received the Boba Fett Slave 1. You can kind of see it right over here. I'll move here. Right there.
Oh, the 3.75. Yep.
The tiniest little Slave 1.
That's the same one, but it's just repacked, isn't it?
Yeah. But it includes the figure, which it didn't have before.
True.
I use the smaller vehicles, like the Slave 1. They had the Jango Fett version before. I use those for my Metacom Kubrick collection because it's so small.
Probably right scale. Yeah.
It looks cool with them displayed with the figures, so I don't mind that all that much. I think that was it, though.
We had good little hauls, you and I. We had a good little week, actually. Considering it's the first week in January, it's
considering
it's not bad.
Yeah. So, anything else for you, sir?
No, I was telling if it picked up there just now, a little editing glitch that went on there. What did I get? Alien stuff I talked about. The Rey Lego. Not a lot of Star Wars. Some Deadpool and Marvel stuff, but pile of comics as well. A lot of John Tyler Christopher Star Wars comics. A great one with Hammerhead. It looks beautiful. Yeah. It's just I've managed to collect all these. I have managed to collect all of the Star Wars covers with him doing them. The action figure ones, they just look fantastic.
Yeah.
So the prices seem to have calmed down a little bit. They were going crazy at one point, but it seems relatively stable. Apart from, of course, Boba Fett.
Right.
But yeah, just comics and Lego. Lots and lots of Lego as it's been kind of hitting stores. So yeah.
Sounds good. I think with that will wrap up this week's show. I'd like to thank everyone, as always, for watching and sharing and commenting. We will be back hopefully next week with another new show. Again, we're getting closer to Toy Fair, so there's bound to be some leaks that pop up here and there and some pre-orders and who knows what else that might pop up between now and then. So until next time, thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you next time.
See ya.